Welcome back. Today we are going to be discussing those impossible dreams that you have, that you want so badly to achieve, but just seem impossible. I'm going to teach you how to achieve the impossible in this video. Impossible dreams. How do you achieve impossible dreams? How do you make the impossible possible? And that is an experience that I have had that has been very eye-opening to me. So in order to achieve the impossible, we first have to have the thought. We first have to have the dream. So if you have dreams that seem impossible, you're already part of the way there. You've already started down that path of achieving the impossible. Just by having the dream, you're on the path. You've got a purpose in this life that only you can express and share, and it is so needed. You are needed to live your life and to accomplish your dreams, because as you do so, you inspire the next person to think, oh, wow, they achieved this? Maybe I can achieve mine too. So for me, one of the dreams I had since I was a kid was to be an author. I love reading. I love reading books and just being taken away into another world and enjoying what the characters go through and seeing the sights and experience it. I've always loved. Some of the books that I loved reading, as a child, when I was in third grade, I would read Goosebumps, Boxcar Children. Those were the two books that I would read the most. And I thought, okay, I'm excited. I want to be an author someday. So I created my own book series, and I called it Chills, because at the time I liked Goosebumps. And so I wrote Chills, and it was all squiggly, like you were getting the chills. And I would write 1, 2, 3 chapters in any of these books, and then I would get bored and then start the next book. So I had several books that I had started, but I had only written like 1, 2, or 3 chapters. And then as life went on, I kind of forgot about this idea about being an author. But I love storytelling. I got into acting, and I acted and was in movies and film and enjoyed the process of telling stories that way. And then one day, I had an experience that reawoke me to my idea of wanting to be an author. And it's kind of funny how it came to be, because it was a maggot. A maggot is what re-inspired me to become an author and to finish fulfilling that dream of being an author. And so it's fascinating how little mundane things can remind us of what's really important in life and remind us of our dreams that seem impossible. And so I had this experience with a maggot, and me being the way I am, I had an interesting thought come to my mind, and I wrote it down, and then I kept writing, and I thought it was fun, and before I knew it, I had this little story about a maggot all written down. And as I read through it, I thought, wow, there's actually a pretty good message to this. Yeah, this could be a children's book. I don't know of any children's books about maggots, so why not? I started to think, okay, well, I need someone to illustrate it. So I asked someone to illustrate it for me, and they said yes, but then couldn't do it. And then I got someone else, and they said yes, but then couldn't do it. And then I asked someone else, and they said, yeah, I'll illustrate it for you. Nothing ever happened. And during the same time is when I hired my first professional mentor. Because in my mind, I loved the idea of being an author. I thought that would be cool. I have a little story that I want to share. But how do you go from that to actually being a published author? And is Austin really author material? Because I put authors in this other world separate from myself. And I had a period of my life where I really thought negatively about myself and had low self-esteem. And I thought better of all these other people. I saw everybody else as better than me. So I really struggled with this idea is, can little me really be an author? Is that really possible? It just seems like this fantastic dream. Thank goodness I had a professional mentor at the time, because this mentor really helped me to get through these mental barriers that were holding me back from achieving my goal of being a published author. And so I worked with my mentor, and he helped me break through some thoughts and beliefs and the next ones. And so I had written this book. Keep in mind, I wrote this book in 2011. It wasn't published until 2016. So it was over 5 years from when I first had the story come to when it actually got published. So I had 5 years of working through mental barriers, of breaking them down and moving into what seemed like impossible. And so as I kept working with mentors, I worked with one mentor, and the book wasn't published yet, but I had done a lot of internal work. And then I got another mentor, and they helped me again. And so here's something important to remember. As you are on your journey to achieving the impossible, it may seem like nothing is happening for a period of time. It may look like, well, I'm doing all of this work for what? Nothing is happening. Let me promise you something here. As you are moving forward in your journey to achieving the impossible, even though it may seem like nothing is happening, things are happening. You are growing. Your belief structure is changing. And so what you were thinking is impossible is becoming more possible. And the foundation is being laid for that building to be built upon. And as you keep moving forward, I promise you that no matter how impossible it seems, as you take one step and the next step and the next step, it will come to pass. I promise you, because it did so for me. So this is the book. This is the one that took me 5 years to accomplish. And it seemed impossible at the time. And yet, here it is. I'm holding it. It's tangible. And can I just tell you the feeling that comes from once you achieve what seems to be impossible, the feeling that came when I first got this book and I was able to pull it out of the packaging in the box and go, oh my goodness, here it is. That feeling is amazing. And I look forward for you to experience it as well. Now, is this book perfect? No. It was my first book. I had a lot of mistakes in it, and it didn't come out exactly the way I wanted. But it came out, and then I kept moving forward. And then the next book came out, and the next book. The second book, it took me 1 year. The third book, 5 months later. The fourth book, 5 months later. So I started to learn the process. So here's the cool thing. Once you achieve the impossible, all of a sudden you know it's possible, and then it's easier to do a second time. And then as you do it again, it becomes more comfortable, and then more comfortable, and more comfortable. Before you know it, you're doing the impossible every day, and then it becomes normal. It's part of your comfort zone. So once you achieve the impossible, it's then important to reach out and find the next impossible dream, because you just proved to yourself that impossible dreams are possible. And so I hope that you value yourself enough to go after your dreams. You're worth it. Your dreams matter, and they are worth achieving. So move forward and do it. Take that first step, and that next step, and that next step, and that next step, and believe that it is possible. If you need to hire a professional mentor, do so. If you need to surround yourself with people who have achieved those dreams, do so. Do whatever it takes. And I promise you that you will achieve those impossible dreams. So now I've got your next step for you. If you found value in this, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.